Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode one redo, episode one something. I don't know what we want to, if there are those who listen to the old podcast on Patreon who know what this is, but welcome to the relaunch of the MADPod, expertly named after our names, Mathas and Dean podcast. So first, before we get into it, Dean, hey, buddy.
Hi, hello, everybody.
Welcome back.
It's episode one Redux. That's what I like.
Yeah, Redux. There you go. Yeah. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Dean, to the land of recording.
Well, it's strange doing a podcast, but I'll do it. I'll give him my best shot.
Yeah, it's like all you got to do is talk to your friend about interesting topics and hope for the best. I don't remember. What was the last episode of the MADPod we did? Do you remember how long ago it was?
It was last year at some point. Oh my God. It might have been.
I don't remember.
It might have been just after E3, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, you might be right. So it might. Yeah, it just got straight. We'll just say like a year without MADPod.
Yeah.
That year was very tumultuous for us both. I think for a lot of personal reasons at home, for varying different reasons for both of us. And the fact that things were still coming out on the Mathas Games channel and any regular pace, never mind the Patreon, was a fucking gift half the time. I think literally all of February, like a video went up. Like it was, it got rough for us. But now that things are settling down, rather large life changes has happened for us and still going on for us. We wanted to revisit this project and kind of give it a fresh go. We kind of call this a soft relaunch, not only for the podcast, but for the channel as a whole. I don't want to spoil anything, but come July, the things on the channel are going to change for the better. You're not going to lose any content or anything, but you're going to see more stuff in a new presentation for it all. And we're really excited to present that.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun.
It's nice to be able to do this and give the guys who have watched, not only you, but the interspacings of me throughout the last year. It'll be nice to give them a long form conversation of us too. It'll be great.
Agreed. Yeah. It's going to be good stuff. And we're going to remain, for the most part, video game focused, or just, maybe even just like call it pop culture focused with a video game kind of like leniency, or like we're leaning toward more video games. Because you never know. Dean popped up a movie review before. We might talk comic books at some point. We might talk other movies that come out. It'll keep, but video games will always be kind of our main focus on the channel, and subsequently for MADPod, which is what brings us to episode one today. We figured not only is it a good time to soft launch in June, but right before E3, what better topic to jump back in and talk about?
Oh, I can't wait, Mike. I can't wait.
It's going to be good times. I vaguely remember last E3. I don't even remember what was really announced because it was like PS5 and Xbox One focused, I'm sure. And it was all just like launch focused.
Yeah, actually, much like you, I can't remember much of last E3, but I don't think Sony's E3 was PS5 focused. I think that actually came after. So after E3. Have. So that's, for me, I've always leaned towards Sony. And so last year's E3, even COVID aside, it was less exciting for me because of Sony's lack of participation. But the reason I'm excited this year is Xbox. I'm sure we'll get into that soon, but
yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. I think they have a massive chance here to really hit back at PlayStation, and I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that too, because Xbox is in a very interesting position because they're throwing around their Microsoft money very
liberally,
wildly right now. Yeah, like willy-nilly, like they're just pissing it all over the place. I'm not complaining. There's some interesting things that are going to come out of it, and I think are going to be very, very good for Microsoft overall. But yeah, this episode is just gonna be E3 predictions, what we think is gonna happen, and we'll talk about the big two that are gonna be there, Nintendo and Xbox, and what we expect of both of them, and then maybe some PC predictions in case we get any weird little announcements that come along. Where do we want to start? Do you want to start with Nintendo then? Do you want to just kind of think like pitch? Yeah, all right, we'll roll with Nintendo first. Nintendo with the Switch, I mean, no matter what they do, it's gonna be big news for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think I think first easy one, we're going to see more Smash Brothers. We're going to see a DLC character. We're going to see something along those lines because they still have a few more to go. on this pass.
How many do they have left? Do you know?
I will Google that right this very minute.
Okay.
Smash DLC characters left.
Because I know they did finish the first round right, and then they were like, "Fuck it, we'll do 6 more." Or whatever.
They did a whole volume 2, which is what's going on right now. A week ago, it looks like there's people babbling on the internet guessing what it's going to be, but we don't know yet.
Okay.
There's only two left. Two left for DLC Pack 2. So whatever this one is, and then one more, and then I guess depending on how well it sells, we'll get a third one or we won't.
So the last character we got was Fire Emblem, right? Or characters? Is that right?
Yeah, we've gotten a few Fire Emblem characters. The most recent one was a Fire Emblem one, if I remember correctly. But people said there's a really fun one, kind of out of the box, kind of the way they operated. But I'll be honest, I haven't even messed with them nor fought them once.
Oh, okay. Well, to be
yeah,
I've noticed that you've drifted away from Smash a little bit, but that's another conversation for another time, maybe.
For sure.
So, with that being said, with the Fire Emblem character sort of already been spent in the last year or so, where do you see Nintendo dipping into franchise-wise?
I think we're gonna get another third party one. I think we're about to get another third party because we just got a first party one again, and people have been saying like, hey, they're not gonna do a lot of third party ones, and then they came out with one of the weirdest, like a few really weird, just what do you call it? I want to keep saying co-optional, but that's not it. That's the name of a podcast. R.I.P. Co-optional podcast. It's when two people are working together. Cooperation. There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Some cooperation. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if we saw the hero from No More Heroes.
What's his name again?
I can't remember, but he would be such a good fit.
Let's just call him Hero. Yeah, that's a good shout. Isn't there there is a new one coming out, right?
No More Heroes, yeah. Today, the reason I'm thinking about it is because today 1 and 2 has been released for the PC.
Well, there you go. That Mike, I hadn't even thought about him, but that is a great shout.
It's just because it got launched today, and I was like, I wonder if we'll see that. Isn't No More Heroes 3 going to be on the Switch?
I would expect it to
be. No More Heroes 3.
I hope it is.
It's exclusively for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Oh, hang on, Dean. My cats are fighting. One moment.
That's okay. So, I'll tell us the mic. Oh, he's shouting. I'm gonna give him a little bit of silence here, just to see if he wants to shout anything else. No, okay. So I'll tell this to Mike when he gets back as well. But last year, my prediction was Master Chief, I think, as well as Iron Man. I was wrong on both counts. This year, I'm going Master Chief again. I'm going Master Chief again this year, Mike. Welcome back.
I would love to see the Master Chief.
Just like last year, I think I called that, and I was dead wrong.
You were very wrong. We did eventually get Steve from Minecraft, though.
That's true. I haven't even played with him either, have you?
Yeah, I've played against him. He's weird. He's good, but he's very cheesy. A lot of traps. He's like a lot of trying to get people off the ledge and then just kind of cheese them from not allowing them to come back.
Yeah. See, whenever I played Smash and you played a cheese character, that's the time I wanted to kill myself most.
the most. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Who did I play that was cheesy?
You played some guy who was like, what's his name? He planted things on the ground and then you ran away and then.
Villager?
Yeah, Villager. That was it.
Villager is kind of a cheesy.
And Isabel with her fishing rod and.
Her fishing rod. Yeah, that was I see that.
I wanted to jump out of my fucking window when I played against. Oh my god. So shifting away from Smash then. Sure. Unless you want to, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I was gonna say if you have any more guesses, like I would love also to see, finally to see Gino show up in the goddamn game.
Gino from
Super Mario RPG. He's been rumored to be in the game ever since the original N64 one, and it'll probably never happen. It's like a dream one, and nobody will really know who he is, and it'll be like very minimal. But I would love to see him in the game.
That would be cool. That would be a great gesture to the fans.
Yeah, I think it would be a really cool gesture to people who have been around for a long, long time.
To be honest, when I think through Nintendo's catalog, I can't, although they've added many since I've had last this thought. I can't think of many Nintendo characters that they have left to add.
Yeah, me either. They are. That's why they keep dipping into the freaking Fire Emblem well.
Yeah.
Because they all look the same, but there's like 1,000 of them. So you just never don't have somebody you can put into the DLC pass to fill a spot or two.
So yeah, I think it's Master Chief. I think that's what I'm going for.
All right.
And I'm dead serious about that as well.
I mean, we'll both see how wrong we both are in like a couple days, I guess.
It is next week.
What else is coming around for Nintendo right now that's like huge?
Oh man, there are things that we know about that haven't reared their heads for a couple of years, like Metroid 4.
Like Metroid 4.
Yep. Breath of the Wild 2, which I'm sure has to show up this year.
There's no doubt that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be there. My question is, what is going to be different about Breath of the Wild this time around?
Well, this was my concern actually, because it is a direct sequel, right, to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine it's going to take place in Hyrule, and since it's the same iteration of Hyrule, what can you do geographically different from the first game other than just like WoW Cataclysm it and blow it the fuck up and maybe do like a reverse world Link of the Past style? You can do all that, but my concern is how do you mix it up?
Stop having your weapons break, for one, would be really good.
I grew to like that, but I can see why.
Oh god, I fucking hated it.
Do you
maybe not have the Master Sword be a 10-minute use before it needs to go on cooldown?
Yeah, that was a little strange.
I think exploration needs to be more rewarding. I think exploration is in dire need of giving rewards worthy of like looking around further, because at some point the 900th little temple and the 50,000th opal you pop open in a chest just serves no purpose anymore. Like there's just no reason to go around. Why not cool ancient armor that you can find and wear, even if it's visual only? Like, give me something to go hunt. Give me something to like look cool or feel rewarded for going out of my way and like perfectly managing my stamina to climb to that super high peak in the world. Other than a chest, it's like, and you got an opal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or finding another,
fantastic.
what are they called? Kariko seeds or something?
Yeah, the Kariko things, which are just little golden poops.
Yeah, basically.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they designed such a great systemic world that I think you're right. The exploration in the first game was it was all there, but the nuggets at the end of the rainbow weren't worth the rainbow, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But
and to be fair, like I was as enamored early on of the game too. Like sometimes just seeing the sights and like seeing the world in that angle's well worth it. But at some point that gets old.
Yeah, I agree. And so I was going to say, Breath of the Wild, maybe it's not about the nugget at the end of the rainbow, it is the rainbow itself, and actually enjoying the climbing and the weather systems and the parasailing off of cliffs. And I guess that speaks to the systemic nature of the game anyway, and the moment to moment rather than the goal. Because anyway, but now we're just talking about fucking Breath of the Wild,
which is fine, because that's a huge. It's going to be big in like, probably in a couple more months, probably holiday, I imagine we'll see it. I mean, there are things in that game that I loved, right? Like, I think in my mind, if I had to give the game a score, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. I really liked it. There's things that I liked about that I hope they keep, like the idea of like minimal to no markers on your mini map. So you are forced to go out and explore and like really kind of take in the world. That was fantastic. The weather system was super fun. The traversal mechanics were fucking great. Surfing your shield and magneting in like, freezing rocks and climbing on, and all that kind of stuff was phenomenal. Like I want to see that return and maybe even more polish put into it. The cooking was fun. Like the general moment to moment gameplay was great. It just never ramped up to anything more than a kind of casual adventure. Cause the combat was good, but it wasn't like fucking like, Devil May Cry or Phoenix Rising, where Phoenix Rising's combat, I think, I think Phoenix Rising is Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild better. Like that's where I stand on how I like my gameplay. So I want to see more for Phoenix Rising progression style in Breath of the Wild 2 is I think what I want. I think the more I babble at you, the more I realize Phoenix Rising is the Breath of the Wild 2 that I wanted. with some Ubisoft unfortunate caveats, like dotted mini map and just like 1,000 things to go do.
Yeah, and zero charm from what I saw.
Yeah, like it's got a great Saturday morning cartoon look, and the writing is really good, but it's like it borders on too like sterilized. Like it's like it borders on not enough personality behind it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a good point about the casualness of Zelda. Again, all these systems in the world, they lend themselves to such a deep RPG. And oh my god, I found this helmet and it's got like +2 damage now instead of this like bracelet that gives me 1.4 damage. I'm so excited. There's none of that, and that stuff's really important for longevity in a game like that. But
especially when you are all your like you can't get attached to any weapon you find. No weapon you find in Breath of the Wild can get attached to, and I'd argue that even the same goes for the Master Sword, just because that thing is just you can't use it all the time.
Okay, so here's a prediction based on what you just said. Do you think the weapon durability will remain?
Yeah, knowing Nintendo, I think they're going to be stubborn about it.
Okay.
I think maybe we'll see a tweak to it. Maybe things won't break as quickly or whatever, but I don't think we're going to see Nintendo take it away.
They might even double down on it.
God, knowing Nintendo, maybe.
But
God knows, we've been like, the technology is there for like really good netcode and fighters, and they're stuck with like 11 frame delay minimum. Like minimum is the 11 frame delay on the Smash Brothers. Like when you take everything into account, it's so stupid.
Bless them. They're a game company, not a netcode company.
Listen, if your games are going to have internet, you are now a netcode company.
Yeah.
Figure your shit out.
Well, there's some passion behind that, and I like it.
Yes, because I want to enjoy Nintendo's dumb games. Anyway.
So,
you know what else we'll see, I think, on Nintendo's side? More Monster Hunter stuff. I think we'll see more Monster Hunter Rise stuff announced.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Which is great. Give me more. I already have like 120 hours into it. So
we've had 2 updates, right, so far. 2 big updates.
Yeah, we're on 3.0. So that was the most recent was the second big update.
Okay. I haven't...
And, yeah.
I fought the Teostra once. But other than that, I haven't gone back. I think I've got like 60 hours or something. But yeah, Monster...
Yeah, I've taken on the Teostra a couple times so far and haven't beaten it. That's where I am too.
Monster Hunter is a good shout. I'm really holding out for Monster Hunter World 2, man. I know that's probably not going to be a Nintendo console. It's probably going to be PS5 and Xbox, and hopefully PC Day 1 as well. That'd be awesome.
That would be great.
I can't wait for World 2, but Rise is a good shout. Yeah,
World 2, I cannot wait for. I mean, I talk about it a little bit in the upcoming spoilers. We got a Judge Mathas in the works right now for Monster Hunter Rise / Monster Hunter, and I mean, I kind of talk about that a little bit in that, like, Monster Hunter World. I mean, Monster Hunter Rise does so much, but Monster Hunter Rise developer is the mobile Monster Hunter developer. So there's no way World isn't being put together right now. World 2, rather.
Yeah. Well, actually,
there's no way.
I would like to talk about Monster Hunter just for a couple of minutes, actually.
Yeah.
Especially Rise, because before we played Rise, I was predicting that I would, or at least I was cynical of the wire bug and the traversal changes and the bugs lying around the map that give you these little attack boosts and health boost. I was concerned that it was getting too quick, too easy to jump in and out. And I was wrong about all that. And Rise is probably actually my favorite Monster Hunter I've ever played, maybe other than Wild, because of what it means to me.
Yeah.
Because Wild was when it exploded, and finally everyone fucking knows how great Monster Hunter is, including including my friends. Finally, we got to play all together. So yeah, Rise was fantastic, and
I think they're gonna have a hard time going. Like, I hope World incorporates the wire bug and stuff, because like that, in my mind, there's no going back from that. Like, the wire bug is too good. It adds another layer of management to the game, because they're on cooldown. You only have a couple. Do you use it to dodge out of the way, or do you save it and just take the hit so you can use your special move when you get up? there's little things that it just adds, and it kind of creates this extra layer of cake on top of this great, this great game that if it was missing in the next game, it would be so noticed.
Yeah.
It would be so noticeable. Same thing with the Palamute running around on the dog. Going back to having to walk around everywhere and not get back quicker is going to be painful. And the other simple change of like just knowing where the monsters are on the map immediately. Because all those things, when you look back on it, World tried to flavor it up by kind of finding tracks and stuff. But when you look back on it, it didn't serve a purpose other than like eating up 5 to 10 minutes of the hunt, of like the beginning of the hunt. Now you can just get into the fight, and the fight's just as hard. It's just as intense. It's just as fast paced. You're going to get your ass kicked just as much. But now you just can get to the fight within a couple minutes instead of having to fucking dick around and like smell poop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look at footprints again and again and again. Yeah.
And taste it every time.
So that was actually a feature of Weld that I was very excited to have. And you're right. After a while, it was just like, oh, it's another track. It doesn't matter. I know what it is. It spawns in Area 7, obviously.
Yeah. You like, it's really fun the first time, but maybe even the 10th time. But Monster Hunter is a game of hundreds, if not thousands, of battles over and over again. So doing that stuff just gets in the way. I mean, Rise, I don't want to get too much into it because I babble about it in the video, but Rise also is still like, it still has an early game kind of slog to it that all Monster Hunters have. They're slowly getting better at it, but man, they are taking baby steps to making the beginning not like information dumped.
Yeah. I do remember playing Rise and thinking about the early stages of Freedom 2 on the PSP, and my God, it was grueling, and they have progressed a large amount in the early game for sure.
Yeah, there's they still got a long way to go. It's just there's so many mechanics that are in the game that I understand are hard to kind of introduce to the player in a way that is like satisfying and they learn it all. But there's got to be a better way than horrendous grind missions where you're just going around and like doing little pathetic things to start, and then just text box after text box after text box after text box after text box. That shit doesn't that's not good. That's just, there's got to be a better way to do it. I mean, I could sit here and brainstorm how, but at the end of the day, it's not my job or your job or anything. I just hope they fucking figure it out at some point.
That's true. Our job is to predict things that won't happen at conferences.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, next thing on Nintendo's... next thing with regards to Nintendo anyway, do you think we're going to see Metroid?
That's hard. I don't know. Because they restarted development like a year ago, right? Like they rebooted the whole project from memory.
2 years ago, maybe.
Rather, a couple years ago, maybe now. Yeah. I'd say it's a 50-50.
Okay.
I'd say I don't feel strongly one way or the other. I feel like at some point we'll see it. It could be this year. I mean, COVID could have fucked everything up for them too.
Yeah.
And like Rise technically got released early, and it was completely unfinished. Like the ending was so bad because it was not done. So that's why in the second update, there's a second ending got put into the game because it's the finished ending that there was supposed to be in the game.
I wondered about that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Yeah. My feeling is it's gotta be. And I'm sure Nintendo executives were pushing to get something to this E3 for Metroid.
I hope so.
Because my God, it's been too long now.
I really hope we do.
It might even just be a more detailed teaser trailer, maybe with a fucking
you know what it could be? Mm-hmm. This is a bit of a guess.
Okay.
It could be a game we see running on what I imagine is going to happen, the Switch Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we're going to see the Switch Pro announced, and we could see Metroid running on the Switch Pro.
Right. Ooh. 60 frames.
I'm excited for the Switch
handheld.
Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Give me a Switch Pro. I want one so bad.
But
yeah, I hope we see Metroid 4, and then we're definitely going to see Pokemon stuff.
Oh yeah. That, what's it called? Arceus? Pokemon Legends Arceus?
Arceus, the open world one. Yeah, that looks good, but I'm nervous because Sword and Shield did not impress. You know what I mean?
No. Well, to be honest, I know it was very early in development, but it's only coming out. It's coming out next year apparently, and Arceus looked unfinished as fuck.
Yeah.
It looked rough.
I'm a little nervous. We'll also see Shining Diamond and Pearl or whatever they're called. But yeah, I mean, I want Arceus to be really good. I just don't know if it's gonna be. Sword and Shield feel like it just did not do as well as they wanted, but I think it still sold an insane number.
Yeah. I'm sure they're not thrilled with the hardcore fan reaction.
Yeah, but sometimes that's impossible to please.
That's true.
Sword and Shield has sold over 20 million copies.
Okay, yeah,
so
that's pretty nuts.
I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty okay.
Yeah. Oh my god, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield was a bummer. In fact, I was going to ask this: do you think, or how long do you think, because it's going to happen? How long do you think it's going to be before we get a pixel art Pokemon again? It's going to happen.
I don't know. I probably, if we see another one, I think it won't be a main title one. I think it'll be a spin-off game. In that, maybe a year or two. I don't think we'll see it this year because they have 2 Pokemon games already in development to take the limelight. We've already got Arceus and we've already got Shining Diamond and Pearl. I think it'll be next year or the year after that we see something like that if we ever do. The
reason I ask that is the transition, however slow it has been from 2D to 3D for Pokemon. It's been very gradual, and I'm not so happy with the direction they're taking it. And my asking is also kind of hopeful because I don't want to see an end to pixel art Pokemon. I think it's beautiful. I think personally, I think the pixel art sort of enhanced the experience. And it calls back to an older time that I think might be lost. Especially if the combat remains the way it is and they're going more 3D, it just disjoints the whole thing.
Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, I agree with you. I think pixel art is timeless in a lot of ways, so I do hope we see it kind of back. I mean, it reminds me of. I'm assuming you saw the new Dragon Quest stuff announcements. And the remake of, was it 3?
Yeah.
In that pixel art style that looks fucking beautiful. Gorgeous. Yeah. Like, I want that game just for that one. Yeah, it's nuts. I'm excited. I'm excited for that. And I do hope we see some pixel art Pokemon in the future. I think it'll be another year or two.
Okay, that's fair enough. Before we move on, is there anything else?
Yeah.
Nintendo wise,
I'm trying to think. Actually, is there any more Nintendo stuff?
Do you have any wild wish list things?
For Nintendo, not really. Like, Nintendo's the kind of system I'm just like, I kind of just let things hit and I'm excited for them when they hit and I don't really get mega hype about it. And to be honest, maybe it's just the fucking over decade in the industry now that I've been in this, but it takes a lot to get me hyped up about anything. Like, it's just, man, maybe I'm just jaded just mid-30s, man. But just,
I'm hearing you because I felt like the last couple of years.
Yeah, I get more excited about the random games that hit that are just great out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that pops up on Steam that's like an indie game that just is just incredible in every way. And you're like, where did this thing come from? And like, I'm so addicted to this thing now. Those are the ones that get me pumped just because they're not filled with promises. They're not filled with, freaking capitalist hype, of all this, of just consistent, insane marketing that never bears any resemblance to the final game, no matter how hard they try.
No, that's fair enough.
I mean, their most recent, gamer tragedy was Cyberpunk, right? Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 has to have been like the most recent one. But like in my old age, that's just another in a long list of games that have been torn apart by people who get really upset. Hell, remember original Watch Dogs? The E3 trailer and everybody's imagination went wild and Ubisoft did nothing to comment when it came out. Everybody was, no matter how okay to good of a game it actually would have been on its own merits, it never would have lived up to the hype that people built around it. Same thing to Cyberpunk.
To be honest, I never really, a bit tangential now maybe, but I can't believe the hype around Watch Dogs. It never, I mean, graphically it looked nice, but of course it didn't look like that anyway, as most trailers don't. But again, I think it's the concept. People latched onto the concept of the idea of having like
all of these NPCs walking around with these huge, deep histories and being able to hack into any phone and have all this insane power, when in reality, the technology wasn't there for that yet. Like, there's no way the tech wasn't there for that yet. And when it came out, it just is just another open world game with a gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, your superpower was a hacking phone. That's all.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I get frustrated about that shit. I'm fucking you. I'm having war flashbacks. I remember calling out No Man's Sky well before that game came out and being shit on. This is during the Roundtable podcast days when we were doing it live, and chat would shit on me for not believing in that game. And that game came out, and it was a heaping pile of garbage. It may be great now, and that's awesome. I'm so happy that the devs like proved me wrong and like really were able to deliver a version of their game that they like are proud of, and it seems like a really good game now. But when that game fucking came out, it was nowhere even, it didn't even resemble a shadow of what they were promising on late night talk shows. Like, it was insane. The dev was on like Jimmy Fallon talking about the insane simulation of this game, and all the while in the background I'm like, but there's 12 people on your team. How are you doing this with 12 people when even Rockstar can't make that shit happen? It was just, so the hype thing is just not a thing I fucking delve into anymore. So no, Dean, there's nothing on Nintendo I am particularly hyped for right now that I think will happen.
Fair enough.
What about you?
I have never played them, but I would love to see a remake of Earthbound or anything to do with Earthbound. Yes,
that would be sick if they
I just want that
officially brought over Mother 3.
Yeah, I just want that for the fans of Mother, to be quite honest. And I really respect the first Earthbound, because I've seen a lot of it and I've heard stories, and it just sounds like a really special game. And I want that to return a little bit. I think Nintendo...
That is a game...
Nintendo don't have weird right now, and I want them to have weird in their arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same. I'm the same where like I know a bit about Earthbound, and I've heard the story told to me a couple times of like what the plot is about, but I kind of mostly forget.
Yeah.
Like, I think I know the major beats, but it's one of those games that just seems super weird and people adore like through and through. That I want to play. Like, it's a game I intend on playing at some point in my life. Like, I fully want to play that game, and I'm excited for it. But Mother 3 has been this whisper of a translated game for like 20 years, and it would be nice to eventually get it. Didn't it officially come over, though, on the Game Boy Advance? Am I wrong on that?
I don't quite know, to be honest.
Mother 3, Game Boy, GBA. Because I feel like it did come out in America on the GBA, but it didn't last long. The final entry was released in Japan. That was 2006. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, it would be cool if they brought that over. I agree.
Yes, it would. So yeah, that's it. I can't think of anything else for Nintendo, to be honest. We spent almost 30 minutes on it, which is quite remarkable.
Yeah, there's really not much going on other than that, I think, for Nintendo. So let's move on to the big boy, Xbox. Microsoft in general is in a very, very good, I would say, an interesting position this year, simply because of their acquisition of Bethesda. But locking down Bethesda, whether you love or hate Todd Howard, comes with titles under its belt that are insanely heavy hitters on their own. Obviously, the Elder Scrolls is the elephant in the room. That in itself is going to be huge. What is it? What's their one big one? Starfield. Starfield is one we're supposed to see soon, I think. That alone is going to bring in a ton of money for them. But you also get all of their like Arcane Studio games, and you get Doom, and you get all these things that you don't really think about if you're not, really into the industry.
Wolfenstein.
Prey.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Wolfenstein, Doom, Prey, both Dishonored games, and Deathloop coming up. Like, that's all profit, man. That's just going to make them a ton of money. I think they paid a few billion to get that thing, but I think it's going to be nothing but good for Microsoft, because last generation they got squanched super hard.
Yep.
About as hard as the 360 squanched the PS3, I feel like. The pendulum just swung back the other way last generation.
Yeah. Even more so, I think, because Xbox never really caught up. They're not catching up now. They've just created their new lane that they're happily residing in, and they're slowly creeping back into Sony's.
Yeah, what's great in Microsoft's focus is it's really no longer the console, right? Like, the Xbox is an Xbox, but really they treat it as a PC.
Mm-hmm.
They treat it as like a low spec PC tower, which is smart. I think the PS5 is sort of being treated similarly by Sony, but their real focus is the Game Pass. That's all Microsoft cares about right now because it's probably breaking them in a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a good deal. It's still an insane deal when you sign up for Microsoft Game Pass. You get such a swath of games. And like, if you don't own an Xbox, you don't need to because it's all on PC now. Like, so really they're not really like, it's not really Xbox anymore. It's just like Microsoft. Because they're equally PC gaming now. They treat them the same. And I think that was a genius pivot this generation because the Game Pass alone has just changed their trajectory and their momentum so significantly in the other direction.
I remember recently I was listening to Colin Moriarty and he was talking about Game Pass, and he says that eventually Game Pass will become non-profitable because of, especially if they're going to go and slam like Halo Infinite and Fable, etc., day one Game Pass. I don't really know the finances, but that could be a problem for Microsoft if they are going that route, which it seems like they are, because I mean, look at how we just talked about it, that they're acquiring out of their ass right now. They've got like 23 studios and they had like 7 4 years ago. It's mental what they're doing. Yeah. So all the games are coming. It's just will they start to charge £30 on top of the Game Pass to get like, I don't know, Gears 6 or whatever we're on now, Gears New.
I think the key for them, again, I think it's a broader scope for Microsoft here. I think you might be right. Eventually they might start losing money on Microsoft Game Pass, but you have to keep in mind, in order to even have Microsoft Game Pass, you need to be owning something of Microsoft's. So even if you don't own an Xbox, you have to have Windows, which is, you have to have Microsoft compatible shit to have like the Xbox experience in order to have Game Pass on your system. Either way, at the end of the day, Microsoft is getting your money because they're holding it through. And if they're not, like if you don't need a Microsoft thing, do not think that there wasn't a licensing deal between whoever has Microsoft Game Pass running on their particular type of system or OS and Microsoft in order to make that happen. Like, I think Game Pass is just a gateway to have people come in and own Microsoft products in some way. Yeah. Because you do not get access to the Game Pass without owning something of Microsoft's. And that's where I think that's their focus. Like, I think they're now using video games as not a separate tree, but a separate avenue into the Microsoft quote unquote experience to owning everything that Microsoft under the sun. Because once you get Game Pass, like, again, there's no, like, $5 a month or whatever it is for the insane amount of games that you get on that is just fucking nuts.
Yeah. The saliency in what you're saying, but the $5 a month thing, that's awesome. But I can also spend $5 on PlayStation and play Persona 5, Monster Hunter World, The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, Days Gone.
Sure.
All these, like, heavy, maybe Days Gone was a bad example, Ratchet and Clank, all these proper heavy hitters. You pop £5 on Game Pass and what is there?
Oh,
at that level?
I want to pop it. I'm curious. Let's actually take a look. You get all of the Bethesda stuff. Which is all the Fallouts, all the Dishonored's, all the, Prey, all that stuff. Let me go. All the Gears games. There's a good list here. Sunset Overdrive. Oh, boy.
There's rumors that Sony are going to do something with that, actually.
With what?
Sunset Overdrive, now that they own Insomniac.
That'd be sick, man. I never played Sunset Overdrive, but it's one of those games that, like... it's just like people have always spoken so highly of when it hit. There's a lot of pages here. There's 31 pages of games. I'm not going to go through all of them. Yeah. Final Fantasy's on here, 10, 10-2, HD remasters, which is bizarre. Red Dead Online, so Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be on there. Doom Eternal, Skyrim, yeah, obviously all the Bethesda stuff. Prey, Rage. Oh my God, there's just like 2 pages. All the BioWare stuff's on there too. So you get all the Mass Effects, Jade Empires, Dragon Ages, Hollow Knight's in there. They get a fuck ton of games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good deal.
Definitely,
there's
I agree.
no doubt. I think what will end up happening is if it becomes a problem, they'll up the price. They'll go from $5 to $10. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
I think that's something to kind of expect.
The point I was trying to drive at was The Last of Us, no matter what you think of it, Uncharted 4, these are like these cinematic, like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
huge deals. And Xbox has to have those coming. But it's going to have to be new IP.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see much out of any personal Microsoft studios now, other than their usual stuff, because they've just picked up Bethesda and the like, and that's just theirs now. So I don't know. I'm curious. Halo, obviously, we'll probably see some, we'll keep seeing Halo being pumped out. I'm assuming we'll see Gears continue. But I don't know. I don't know if Microsoft sees a future in, original, Microsoft
Blockbusters.
IPs beyond just a few. I mean, even PlayStation. You look at some of their games, they're coming over to PC now too.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the freaking, not Journey to the West, the first one, Guerrilla's games. And then, I think PC is the great crossroads for a lot of these companies at this point, and they can no longer ignore it.
No, they cannot. Sony's strategy seems to be continue these. Well, I'm talking about Sony now, but actually it's a Microsoft prediction thing for E3.
That doesn't make it, it's all good. It's all intertwined.
So Sony's thing seems to be just as it was in the PS4 era. We're going to release these massive blockbusters. Everyone's going to pay $60-$70 for them. Everyone's going to cum themselves on Twitter for 2 weeks, rinse and repeat. I think Sony's happy with that. And then 2 to 3 years later, just drop Horizon on PC. There you go. Bit more money for us. I think that's what they continue to do. I don't think they'll do PS5, PC, even 6 months apart. It'll be 2 years before we get, The Last of Us Part 2 on PC, if we ever do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see Last of Us, those games in particular. I think we'll see more Sony-owned third-party developers kind of spin out to PC. I have no idea, man. It'll be really exciting to see where these guys go. It's going to be crazy to see how, because they're all streaming services. Subscription services is where all these companies seem to be aiming toward, minus Nintendo at this point. So we'll see how that goes. What do you think we're going to see out of Microsoft this year, other than a bunch of Bethesda stuff that I think we already talked about a bit?
Fable is the big one that I'm looking forward to.
I'm hope for a revival of Fable. That's going to be really good.
It's made by the Forza guys, right? Who have made nothing but Forza.
I don't know, actually. I have no idea who's making the new Fable.
Would you like me to take a look?
New Fable developer. Here, we'll see. Fable 4 is using the 4 as a game engine.
Okay.
The developers are Playground Games. Is that the people who do?
I think it is. The guys who do Forza. At least they might do Forza Sport, or whatever the kind of skew on Forza is.
Yep, they do Forza.
Okay. So yeah.
At least Forza fans, you're hot. Yep, looks like.
That would be like asking Polyphonic, the Gran Turismo guys, to make you a new Dragon's Dogma or something like that.
I wonder if it wasn't, because this is how it goes. I know a lot of the time. I wonder if they had an idea, create a really rough prototype, and was like, here's our pitch. And they were like, yours. Because Peter Molyneux is not going to be involved, I imagine.
No. I think,
thank God.
Maybe your prediction's on there, but it might have been here's this medieval RPG we've got. Yeah, but forget the new IP. We're going to use Fable. Just slap Fable on it and we can use it.
Yeah, that's extremely possible. Maybe even more possible than the way, they just might have been here's an idea for an open world, sick fantasy game.
Because love or hate Peter Molyneux, one of the draws of Fable was the irreverent British humour and the slapstick, stupid fart jokes and that.
It looks like the developer of Playground Games did do Fable back in the day.
Huh?
Blue Box Games. Okay, so they did a bunch. Okay, so Playground Games, no, they just got slapped under the Fable wiki, and now it makes it appear as though they are the developers. That's not correct.
Well,
okay, cool. So Yeah, it went Big Blue Box, Lionhead Studios, Flaming Fowl Studios for the originals, and now Playground Games for the new one.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. I want to see. I want to see what they're gonna do with Fable. Now that I know it's those developers as well, I'm excited.
I'm just concerned that they will lose the English humor that was very much at the core of Fable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I do wonder because I don't know where they're from. I imagine they're American based or something.
But like I say, I'm excited for that one. I hope it's there. I think it will be. I think it's pretty safe to say that.
Oh no, they're in the UK. You're there in the UK, bro.
Okay.
Royal Leamington Spa, United Kingdom.
Might be in good hands.
Their headquarters are.
Might be in good hands.
Don't worry, they can still do their English fart jokes just for you.
Perfect. So kind of not maybe adjacent's the wrong word, but Xbox have a lot of RPGs in the works now. If you think about it, they have the Obsidian, Elder Scrolls Compare, and they have Elder Scrolls now. So
they really do. They have BioWare and fucking
Obsidian.
Bethesda.
It's crazy.
And Obsidian.
Yeah.
And Bethesda. And Obsidian. They have the three huge RPG makers of the West.
It's insane.
That's actually, that's so good for them, though. Like, that's nuts. I don't know if that's a good thing for us, but for Microsoft, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because we might even see the new Dragon Age shown off.
Oh, that would be...
Because they've been working on and hinting at Dragon Age all year, so we actually might see the new Dragon Age shown off.
That's a good shout.
And the new Mass Effect. Because they've already teased it. They've teased the new Mass Effect where they showed the burnt N7 signal. So hinting that Shepard's coming back for the new one. I want to ask Mark so bad. I keep like hinting. I'm like, so it might have been a busy week for Mass Effect stuff. He's like, oh yeah, dude, it's been so busy. And I'm like, tell me more, please. Like, I want to know.
Tell me more about this, Mark, real quick.
That's Mark, the voice of Shepard, bro.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, you play.
Stitch of Fate. We do Stitch of Fate, the podcast with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the last couple of weeks we had to cancel. I had to cancel and stuff for my own reasons. He's like, oh, thank God, because I'm busy all week doing Mass Effect like signings and stuff. And I'm like, there's no way you're not working on the new Mass Effect. Yeah. They fucking hinted at like Shepard in the teaser. So I hope we see it, and I hope we see a teaser of like Shepard's return.
But maybe I think
because Andromeda fucking bombed.
Yes, it
did terrible.
Yeah. Last year, I could be wrong about this. I think EA teased both of them, Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
They did.
Are they going to do that again this year and show them both off?
Maybe. It depends. Good question. I don't know. It depends on, I guess, when they're looking to release them.
I would imagine Dragon Age comes first, right? That's got to have been in development much longer.
Yeah, that feels like that would be the smarter decision at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out to huge fanfare. Everybody loved that, so that's good. So that'd be the only reason I'd say we may get more Mass Effect news because Mass Effect is so recent in the mind. But honestly, either one I'd be pumped for.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do with Dragon Age moving forward. Inquisition was pretty damn good. I never finished it, but what I played of it, I enjoyed. And then Mass Effect Andromeda was a huge misstep, but the goodwill built with Legendary Edition is going to be great. And this is kind of a tangent. I do wonder if we'll also see anything. Probably not. I guarantee like a 1% chance that we will. But the old school developers from like those old development studios, BioWare and Blizzard, who went and just made their new studios recently, I wonder if we'll see anything from any of them this year.
Ooh. Well, actually, that's a good point, because I was going to ask you if you think Dragon Age will go, whether it will return more to Dragon Age CRPG sort of feel.
I don't think so.
Okay, you think it will remain hack and slashy?
I think it's too mainstream at this point.
Okay.
Like Baldur's Gate, Divinity, they can do it because they're hitting a very niche audience, and it's still a good audience. It's a good, profitable audience, but you have to do things very well. No way with EA behind it. What we'll likely see, if we see any of that stuff, is we'll see like a spin-off game that might do something like that in the future if they can rebuild the goodwill of Dragon Age back. Kind of like how they did with, or 2K did with XCOM. Remember Chimera Squad?
Oh, yes.
Chimera Squad spin-off, kind of like for different mechanics and stuff. Maybe something like that. Don't get me wrong, I would love it, but Baldur's Gate's like where my chips are for that kind of game right now.
You just reminded me with XCOM. Did you read about the supposed Marvel XCOM game?
No, what? There's a Marvel XCOM? That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
By Fire Axis, bro. It's fucking XCOM,
Oh,
guys, and they're doing like a Marvel one.
Marvel XCOM?
So like the Hulk throwing Spider-Man at an alien is
That
what
would be
I'm saying.
so sick. 2K leaks suggest new Marvel XCOM game and Borderlands. I don't give a shit about Borderlands. No one cares about Borderlands. A new round of leaks from 2K suggests the developer is now working on a Marvel-themed XCOM game. This is all coming from hypebeast.com, so take it with a grain of salt. But Jason Scherer tweeted, yes, this 2K leak is real, but I'm not sure all of it is going to be at E3.
Okay.
Can't wait for Marvel XCOM though. All right, yo, that would be fucking sick. I mean, I wonder how they do it because I really enjoy the permadeath nature of XCOM and like all that stuff, and I don't know if they'll be able to do that with like Iron Man.
Spider-Man's dead.
Just put a bullet through fucking Doctor Strange's noggin and he's done. Like, I don't know how they do that. I wonder if we'll see something like that. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe the heroes go bad and we have to build our own heroes or something. I don't know, but
Could they?
sick, dude. That'd be cool.
Would it be lame if you made your own squad and then had like a hero slot to pop Spider-Man in?
I mean, like a leader who can't die can only pass out kind of thing. Maybe I'd be down. You have me intrigued, sir. I'm very curious how they're going to do that because my mind is spinning. That would be really, really fun, man. Marvel's just on a roll right now, so I hope they. Unfortunately, their video games aren't, but I hope that they can turn their video games around.
Yeah.
Since the last one was that Destiny style one, right? Avengers or whatever. It is.
That was a massive misstep. Huge
Oh
misstep.
yeah, it was huge misstep. I mean, that'd be sick. I'd be sick. I would love to see that. I mean, I'm excited. There might be a PC highlight like they've done the past couple of years with Day 9. So we might see some Baldur's Gate 3 stuff, but I doubt we'll see anything really exciting in the PC land.
Yeah.
I think
I'm trying to think what else there would be for Xbox. I know I was so excited, but everything's kind of gone blank because I'm still thinking about this XCOM game. That's returned to my mind.
I mean, we're going to see a lot of stuff from BioWare. Bethesda, we talked about a little bit already as well. And who was the third company that they picked up? They picked up the big RPG makers. What was
Obsidian?
it? Obsidian. Yeah. Are we going to see anything from Obsidian? I wonder.
I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but prior to them acquiring Elder Scrolls, they're having Obsidian make an Elder Scrolls compare.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like literally the gameplay trailer is like a guy with a sword in one hand and fire in the other, and it's basically just Elder Scrolls but Obsidian.
Yeah, I forgot. Avowed. That's what it was called. That was July of last year, so last E3 is last. We'll saw of it. Yeah, wow. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's still happening.
Yeah. You would piss off Obsidian royally if you quash that game. Because that seems like something they're very excited to make. Because that's in their blood, isn't it?
Man. I hope we don't see that canceled. I hope we see some Avowed. That would be sick.
Yeah. Well, they've got time because I'm sure Elder Scrolls 6 will come out in like 2027 or something like that.
That's true. Yeah, it's not going to really clash with Elder Scrolls. That's for sure. Yeah, because God knows how far along Elder Scrolls even is in development at this point.
They're probably still drawing the brick textures. That's such a...
It's like one man there every day, 24 hours. Your typical sleeping under the desk. It's like, I just gotta... Todd Howard wants a brick texture that looks more real than the one at his house, and he's giving me 100 pictures, and every time I show it to him, he hits me in the back of the head and says, "What are you, an idiot?" and pays me $1,000 and makes me do another one. I don't know what this weird like scene in my head is that just happened. I see Todd Howard walking up behind him like, "You looks dumb," slaps him and walks away in the back of the head, throws $1,000 in ones on his desk, and like...
I take issue.
I don't know.
I take slight issue with this vilification of Todd Howard that's happened on the internet.
Well, you're right. He would say, here's $1,000, and then he'd throw you a 10. Then he would leave.
Nice.
No, trust me, it's like $1,000.
and it just worked.
Because Fallout 76 is still in great working condition, as you and I discovered a few weeks back.
That's a good point. And what you mentioned earlier about No Man's Sky, it's the total. They could have redeemed it by now, and they haven't still.
They've had, 2 years to make Fallout 76 at least stable? Man. And it just is we ran into so many bugs. We have the fucking stirring animation that I couldn't get out of, and my HUD was just gone for no reason.
It was crazy.
It's so stupid.
So my final thing that I can really that's coming to mind right now for Microsoft would be Psychonauts 2.
I hope we see some Psychonauts 2.
We're definitely going to, because it's coming out soon. I think I can't remember the release date, but I'm pretty sure it's this year. I'm just wondering if it'll be on Game Pass day one, because it's also on PlayStation, and Sony might be very angry if a game that they once were kind of they announced it. Sony announced Psychonauts 2 with Double Fine, and so they might not appreciate that going on. I mean, it's nothing to do with them now, but if it goes day one on Game Pass, I think I don't know if Sony would allow that. There might be something in place that is like, don't do that day one.
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine that there's... it could go either way. It feels like, I wonder what contract they signed with Sony. I think it'll highly depend on what kind of contract Double Fine signed with Sony beforehand. I don't see Microsoft obviously like not putting it on the other consoles, because there's just money to be made there.
Right.
But I don't know. I could see it hitting a Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
The Psychonauts is on there.
I mean, it would be great. That would be an amazing game to get on Game Pass. I hope it's fantastic. I hope it's not not a Banjo-Kazooie, a ukulele. I hope it's not a game that should have come out like 10 years ago. I really hope that.
Yeah. I didn't hate Ukulele. I actually enjoyed their spin-off game a lot more.
A 2D one, right?
More enjoyable.
It was a 2D one, right?
Yeah, it was like the Donkey Kong Country style kind of game, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, shit, what was the game we were just talking about? My brain just went blank on me. Did Psychonauts 2. I just want to look it up real quick. I want to see if there is any news on this. It says initial release date 2021. It says this year, so we'll see.
Okay.
Psychonauts 2, Microsoft Game Pass. Let's see if that comes up with anything. We have an answer for you, brother. It'll be on Game Pass day one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. Yep.
Amazing. That's good.
So there you go. It's already done. It's already announced.
Well, I guess I'll be getting Game Pass.
This is all on Xbox's official store. It's like optimized for the Xbox Series X. Yeah, this is all Microsoft for sure.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Fantastic. Yeah, I hope we see this shit soon. I'd love to play Psychonauts 2. If I could get an early copy and do a Judge Mathas of that would be great.
That would be really good.
I need to go tickle some feelers out there and see who I can poke and see what the deal is with that. But I doubt I'll get anything.
We can hope.
That's it for E3 though, really, man. I don't think there's much more to discuss. I think this E3 is going to be exciting. I'm always excited for E3 for the most part, but I think we got some really cool games that are going to be peeking over the horizon for a couple of consoles. So see how it goes. And as always, Dean, thank you for hanging out with me and chatting video games. For right now, we're planning on keeping this monthly. Is that the plan?
That's correct.
All right, cool. We're keeping this monthly for now. Him and I are working on some things in the background that we might be able to either work towards more often or the like. But for right now, I think monthly is what we're willing to commit to. So we'll be back next month with yet another MADPod for y'all guys to listen to, and we'll see if our E3 predictions bared any truth. And Dean, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you next month.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.